Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Bicycling Lunch and Learn. Today's topic is your favorite bike accessory or gadget. And I've got Matt Mitchell from Garmin, who's going to talk about some of the cool gadgets that they have and some hopefully don't want to go on a bike ride without type things. And then I'll share a slide presentation um, of the products and gadgets that my colleagues at Bicycle Garage Indy say that they wouldn't go on a bike ride without. So we'll go ahead and get started. For those of you who are not aware, this is a monthly lunch and learn that we do on the second Thursday of the month from 12 to 1 via Zoom. And our partners on this are Bicycle Garage Indy, Bike Indianapolis, Commuter Connect, Central Indiana Bicycling Association, and the YMCA. Hopefully I got everybody. So we do these on a monthly basis, and I'll be posting them along with the slideshow on indybikehub.org website, as well as in the calendars that you may have found, as well as on BGI's Facebook page. So you'll be able to find it on BGI's YouTube channel or BGI's Facebook page, or, if you want to look at it again or share it with other people. So with that, I will go ahead and turn it over to Matt first. And thank you all for coming.
Sorry, you broke up there, Connie. Was that my cue?
Yep, that's your cue.
Cool. Well, my name is Matt Mitchell. I'm the regional manager for Kentucky and Indiana. So I cover running and biking, hunting, fishing, golfing. If it's Garmin related, it's kind of my background. Luckily, I'm kind of a jack of all trades. So my background is ultra running, endurance biking, bike packing, adventure racing, and then just overall outdoor exploring. Right now, Connie reached out to me yesterday about a couple of my things that I never leave home without when I get on the bike. Well, right now I'm in the middle of training for a 100-mile gravel race in Michigan. So pretty focused on the drop bar bike right now, and I'm getting on it. And there's two items that I absolutely never leave home without when I jump on the bike that are Garmin products. Those two things are my Garmin Edge 1040 computer, or any Garmin computer, and then from a safety aspect, my Varia RTL radar taillight. These two items, they work together hand in hand. I love them both for very separate reasons, but they're both excellent. I'll start with the radar because I think it is one of the best other Garmin products to go along. You can run this right off your cell phone. If you're a person that uses a cell phone and not a bike computer, it attaches Bluetooth. Not only does it have the multiple modes of light, but it also has a built-in radar. And what that radar does is it shows up on your bike computer or on your cell phone and shows those cars coming from 300 feet back, and you can watch them walk up the side of your screen as they get closer to you. So you always know what's behind you. That way you're not looking behind you or having to run a mirror or have to or constantly looking over your shoulder and not being able to look ahead at it. So my absolute favorite thing, we're talking about, if my screen's freaking out, I'll move over to I can move to a cell phone. But like I said, absolute favorite item that we make. Never leave home without it. Two, like I said, I'm training for a 100-mile race right now, so I never leave home without. I'm running my training program. It could be just a standard fitness day, or I could be doing a training block, doing some pyramids, doing some breakaway stuff. So I'm constantly looking at this computer. I can run up to 10 different data sets on this computer, from my timer, time of day. It looks like I'm freezing up, Connie. Let me take a break here and see if I can jump over to a better connection.
All right, so Matt's going to try and switch over to a better connection. So for those of you who might have some questions about the Garmin or Varia, that now would be a good time to put them in the chat so then he can answer them. And hopefully he will join us. And if not, if he doesn't.
And I always look at DC Rainmaker reviews of various products, including Garmin. And I got to say, I've never seen him so exasperated about a product before doing a product review. He was not happy with that device.
Interesting.
Yeah, basically he major complaint about the camera functionality and app integration. There were several issues he had with that device, especially considering the $400 price point. So,
yeah.
As a consumer, that's a big red flag to me, and I hope it's gotten Garmin's attention. And that's kind of why I would like Matt to comment, if he's willing to, about,
Okay.
hey, yeah, we know we need to make some changes to that device, or what they're planning to do.
Okay. Yeah, so he is now rejoining, so hopefully we'll be able to get that. All right, so hopefully we can hear you and we can see you. All right, so Matt, go ahead and unmute yourself if you can. All right.
Sorry about that, Connie.
No worries. So while you were gone, we had a couple of questions I asked people to put in the chat. One was needed to find a skinny saddlebag to fit above the camera radar tail lights. She's small with a small frame. And then another person wanted to know if you had any comments on any planned improvements to the Varia RCT 715, and would like to find a cell phone mount that can count on not losing my phone on Indy's lumpy roads. So I'm not sure that that's a Garmin thing, but the RTC 715 definitely is, and how you could actually.
Yeah. So the 715.
No, we lost you again. All right.
There was some issues continuing to update software. We like to update every couple months at least, if not quarterly, depending on what adjustments need to be made. We just launched the new Edge Explorer computer yesterday. So with that, generally there's a host of new updates that will come just shortly after the launch of a new product. So I would look for that here next couple weeks.
Okay, great. Let's see. Yeah, rear rack mount for
putting them on the back of a seat post. We've used a couple of different ways. There's not a great way. There's not a way that I can say I definitively like. There's some third-party people that sell some stuff out there that's a lot better than what we have. Generally, if I'm putting it on the back of a seat post, I'm zip tying it all the way on. That way I don't lose it all the way around, even the outside of the radar. It's not going to cause much of an issue. Just putting a zip tie right on the outside of that radar below your camera. So that's where I'm going if I want a fail safe on the back of a seat post bag. Again, that's kind of how we run it when we go bike packing. We'll put it all the way out there off the back of it. We've never lost one, and like I said, it works even with some kind of strap right across the front of it.
Awesome. Let's see. So are there any additional, I think there's a couple of Garmin products that were listed in the slideshow. So when we get to there, I'll defer to you to give a little bit more detail about those. So I'm going to go ahead and start the slideshow. See if I can share my screen. And find this one. Okay, so I put out an email to my colleagues at Bicycle Garage Indy, see what their favorite bike accessories and things that they wouldn't leave on a bike ride without. So they sent me several different things. One was a Silca recycled inner tube wallet, which he puts cash and a photocopy of his driver's license and insurance card in there. And this is kind of gives you a size of what you can fit in there. Tube, tire plugs, CO2 inflator, mini pump, and water bottles. So tire plugs are for those that are running tubeless tires. And then CO2 inflator, mini pump. My favorite pump actually is the Toe Peak Road Morph frame pump, mini frame pump. And it has a gauge on it, so you know how much PSI, and it can go up to 150, I think. It's crazy. You have to have really strong arms to get it above 90, but it has a nice handle that folds out and has a little foot thing down at the bottom. So it's really almost like a mini floor pump. Let's see. Tire jack. We have this on 2 of our bikes. We've had issues with getting the tires back on after a flat with a really tight bead, and these tire jacks have been lifesavers to get us back on the road. Changed flats, especially on the tandem. Water bottles, of course, always need some kind of hydration, especially on the 90+ degree days. A stem bag. I think Sean Hawk was the one who suggested this. It's great to put his phone and food into and easy to get to. It mounts on the stem in front. And then this is a Garmin Edge 530. I think Scott Helvey was the one who suggested that one. So if you want to talk a little bit about some of the features on that.
Yeah, so Edge 530 is our more of our economical entry level bike computer. The good thing about our bike computers from 530 all the way up to 1040, they really carry a very similar data set and what you're going to get out of it. The difference is obviously on size and on the functionality. The 530 being our lower end does not have the touch screen. So that's all button driven off the side. So for the person that's worried about, their glove or their sweaty hand not being able to toggle through their screens, the 530 is a great option because it is all button driven.
Cool. Let's see. And then you mentioned this as well. So there's 2 different ones, one that has a camera with it and one that just has the radar. Is that correct?
That's correct. Yeah. So 515 has been around for a couple of years. It's tried and true. It's got a great battery life, but it does not have the camera on it. It has the radar and the light. And then back in May, we launched the new 715 series that carries rear camera
Awesome. All right, next one. So I know that there are some people who have gotten cyclic cameras or cyclic cameras. So this has a light and a camera built in, both front and back. So there were some, a lot of people are very safety driven. They want to have lights and cameras when they go on bike rides. So I added that in there. And then mirror, I use a mirror on my helmet. So much so that when I'm hiking in the woods and I hear a noise behind me, I look in the spot where my mirror would be, even though my mirror is not there. My husband, the mirror on the helmet gave him headaches, and so he but he uses a mirror that goes off of the side of his brake levers. So there's all sorts of different kinds of mirrors and where you can mount them and everything. And clinometer, I do a lot of riding in the hills, and when we're on our tandem, it's nice to know if you're going slower than you expect, that, oh, we're climbing a 5% grade. That's why we're not going our normal speed. And it's also kind of cool to see. I think it's more accurate on the uphills than it is on the downhills. But it gives you real-time information about the percent grade. I'm a little ticked that it only goes, the one that we have only goes up to 20%, because I know that there are probably some hills that we've climbed that are more than that. But 20% is pretty high. Not usually get to too many beyond that. Bib shorts, although this is not necessarily a bike accessory, it's something that some people would not leave home without, is they love their bib shorts. And a dog lead, one of my colleagues said it's great to get his dog out for long walks, so it takes him on a bike ride, or well, rides along with the dog, I guess. And I think that is it for, so let me go back to stop sharing. All right, so does anybody have any questions about any of those things, or want to share any of their favorites? Let's see, so I have a Von Traeger wave cell helmet, and the mirror that I have was created by somebody who's no longer making them, but you might be able to find them. They were made with old spokes, and so it kind of clamps on rather than some other attachment. So you can usually get it clamped on. So you might want to look for something like that. Let's see. 100+ day per year commuter really likes the cargo bib shorts, which just started using a year or so ago. And I will be able to share the slides. I'll put the PDF of the slides up on as a link to the YouTube. So you'll be able to find them.
Connie, on those cargo bib shorts, the reason I really like them as a commuter, I have a badge I have to use to open gates, to ride into work and whatnot, and just having those cargo pockets on the side for badge and a phone makes it a lot easier to get to stuff versus trying to dig around in your back jersey pockets.
Yep.
And when it gets really hot, I found that I'll even go without a jersey. I'll just use cargo bibs and a base layer and just go without the jersey altogether, because the cargo bibs have enough room that I can put what I need on in that.
Cool.
Yeah. I agree for mountain biking too. Mountain biking or gravel, you don't want a bunch of stuff bouncing on your jersey. So shoving a bunch of stuff in those cargo pockets seems to go a long way.
Yeah, so somebody says they really like the Banjo Brothers panniers. I have one that converts to a backpack, and a couple bought for sale. It looked like grocery bags that fold up and snap. Both are super reasonably priced compared to other panniers. Yeah, great suggestion, Stacy. I have the Arkel dry sack panniers, and I carry them on my bike all the time. Unless I'm commuting into work and have to take all of my work stuff, and then I have much bigger panniers because I have my laptop and all my clothes and all that. But I take the Arkel dry sack on every bike ride because I take now my camera on every bike ride, and so I put my camera in there. And lately we've been taking, when my husband and I are going on our tandem rides on the weekends, we've been taking our lunch in one side of the dry sack and the camera in the other, and all of our water bottles go on the rack pack on top and on the bike. So we have 6 water bottles we carry, our lunch, a bunch of other stuff just for a day bike ride. So we got a lot of carrying capacity with those. And I probably should have put those. I'll probably add those because that's something that I really, really like. I don't like carrying anything in my pockets at all. So I like having the bike carry everything for me. So that's what I do. Any other questions that people have? Any other suggestions or your favorite things?
You were talking about your meter, your ascent, yeah. So, on the Edge computer, we have that as well. It's called Climb Pro, and it actually shows you as you're going up the hill, and what part of the grade you're on, and how much what distance you have left to the top of that hill. And it's almost the blessing and a curse when you're climbing, because you know exactly how much you got left, but if you're running low on gas, it's you've got a mile left to go. It really it shows there. So but it's again one of my favorite things to know, like, hey, how many hills do I have left coming up in this course? On this course, how many hills do I got left? Where do I need to hold back a little bit and working out press a little bit more?
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, so the inclinometer, it's interesting because I think on the downhills you get almost twice as much because of the gravity force of the bubble. It's literally a bubble in water or in some kind of liquid, and that's how it tells the percent grade. The interesting thing about how that was invented, there were 2 cyclists who were climbing in the Alps, Swiss Alps on bikes, and they wanted to know what percent grade. So then they went and engineered this thing so they would know. But any recommendations for a rear light that will attach to a backpack or jacket instead of your bike? And you have to have some kind of fabric loop to attach. So sometimes jackets will have a little loop on the back that you can hang them by, that are on the back of the jacket, or a backpack, or you might have to create a loop that then you could put your rear light and attach it to. So that would be my suggestion. And I've had some success with putting clips on things, like on rear packs, but I also had one that came off. So I'm a little wary about doing that. So I have an attachment that has a strap that kind of really locks it on. Last thing you want to do is to lose your light, especially when you really need it. Let's see. And Von Trader has a clip that fix their rear light fasteners. So truck customer support might be able to help you with that as well. And anybody else have any questions? So one tip that I'll give you as far as water bottles go is that I have an insulated rack pack. And so we put ice water in the rack pack and keep it in the water bottles, in insulated water bottles in the rack pack. And so then when we run out of our water bottles on the bike, we have ice cold water to replace them, which is really nice, especially on the 90-degree days. So let's see. And I think that's all I've got, unless Matt, if you wanted to share anything else coming up with that, or
no, like I said, I could just kind of, working for Garmin, obviously, I run a ton of Garmin accessories on a bike pretty much at all time. And so I can just give you a quick rundown of kind of what I got going on. So obviously I've got a Garmin Edge computer, a Garmin Varia light. So that light's pretty cool because it's built into the speed sensor, into your GPS speed. So it'll get brighter and look further down the faster you go. And as you slow down, say you're climbing a hill, the light will dim, so you're not burning as much while you're out, while you don't need it. The other thing I run Garmin power pedals. So when I'm doing a big training and I'm trying to get that power up, being able to get that power and seeing what I'm putting down is always a great accessory. Albeit they're rather expensive, they are fun for the racer that's out there trying better their stuff.
awesome. All right. Well, I will go ahead. We'll end unless anybody has any additional comments, and we will see everyone. Oops, more info on power pedals. So Matt, can you do a little bit more about why you might want power pedals? If you can get unfrozen. Lost Matt. All right, well, I will have Matt give us a link to power pedals with more information since we've lost him. So thanks everyone for coming, and look for this in the PowerPoint or the slides on YouTube. Thanks a lot. Have a great afternoon. Bye.